on here and talk about some of the new laws that are being passed in America these days and things that have been happening over the past several years and just the direction that our country is going. So, some of the new laws that have been passed has to do with criminalizing homelessness. If that is not the epitome of tyranny, I do not know what is. And if that does not prove to the populace of a nation that its government and state does not care about the people itself, nothing will convince you if that does not. For our government to openly say, hey, you have fallen on hard times. We see that you've lost your home. We see that you're struggling to do anything in your life. So here, how about we throw you in jail because you don't have those things? That is mind-boggling to me. And I cannot for a moment understand how people are not more upset about what is happening. The fact that they're trying to make it illegal to live in RVs or even in your vehicle if you come on that hard of times. Like, that's crazy to me. How is that possible that people are not, I repeat, not losing their minds over this? Like, that makes no good sense. It's bad enough that we already, as a nation, do not take care of our retired military and veterans, and we allow half of them to be homeless and self-deleting and can't get proper medical care and all this stuff. But now it's seeping out into the rest of our nation as well, which, mind you, has been for a long time. But this, to me, is the most blatant and open display of tyranny that I've really ever witnessed in our country so far. I'm almost 40 years old. I turn 40 next year. And I've seen quite a fair things of laws being passed. And mind you, a lot of the tyrannical laws that have been passed throughout my life are simply not being enforced, but those laws are still in place. Across the nation right now, there are people being imprisoned and having their vehicles impounded because they have fallen on hard times and are living in their vehicles or living in their campers. Since when does the government have the right to tell the people that it absolutely must be able to afford a home of their standard and must be able to live the life that the government deems that you should, and if you don't, well, then we'll throw you in prison? Like, that to me is just next level corruption and says everything about how the American government truly perceives its own citizens. It's really sad, in my opinion, and I don't understand, A, why the government would pass such a law that would criminalize homelessness in such a way, but it says a lot about our government that they would pass laws to criminalize homelessness and to imprison people that have to live in their vehicles because they've fallen on hard times, or impound their vehicle because they're found sleeping in their car, or, people having their RVs taken and towed and all kinds of crap simply because they do not own their own house or rent from a landlord that is charging them too much money for rent. Hey there, Sangina. I appreciate you coming in. I am discussing some laws and different things that have been happening here in America over the past few years and recently. And, man, I can't fathom it. I really can't fathom it. Hey there, Tudio. I appreciate y'all guys coming in. Does anybody else have any opinion on some of the laws and stuff being passed here in America, criminalizing homelessness? Does anybody else in the chat have any comment on any other laws that they've noticed being passed here in the past couple years? Like maybe the fact that our government is headlong down the path of removing physical currency and making everybody take a digital ID and creating a digital currency. And guys, this ain't good. Like we as a nation do not want this. I'm telling you, we do not want this. If the government is already willing, I appreciate that. Subscribe, man. If the government is already willing to imprison people simply for being homeless, what do you think the government will do when people do not bow the knee to tyrannical digital IDs, digital currencies, the removal of physical cash? Like, we do not want these things. K-pop, I don't know why you say Trump is going to take your family away, but I apologize, and I hate to hear something like that, man. That is never a positive thing, and the fact the state thinks that they have the right to do stuff like that is even more mind-boggling. You know, fun fact, and this has been proven, child services, or DCF, whoever you want to call them, in the United States is the most responsible organization in our country for missing children and human trafficking. That's mighty convenient, isn't it? I started the stream 7 minutes ago. Hey there, Vanessa. Does anybody else in the chat have any comment on any laws or anything like that have been passed, or things they've been seeing taking place in the country here as of late? I mean, it's bad enough we're on the verge of starting war with basically half the world. We're in the process of starting a world war, criminalizing homelessness, creating digital bank currencies, removing physical cash. Like, our nation is on the path to creating a society that I promise none of us are going to want to be a part of. I appreciate that sub. I really do. That means I think I'm up to like 110 subs now. It breaks my heart, the direction that I see our country going into, because it does not have to be this way. I don't prescribe to zodiac signs and stuff like that, but I am, I guess you would call a Cancer. Fun fact for you, there's 13 zodiac signs. Why? Because we live under a false calendar. The calendar is supposed to have 13 months of 28 days apiece. But lo and behold, because we have people through history and power that have thought they had the right and authority to change everything, well, now we live under a false calendar too, on top of all this crap that we got going on. I remember the country I grew up in as a kid. No problem. And it really breaks my heart because the country that I grew up in no longer exists. No longer exists. I remember as a kid how blue the sky was. Like, the sky was so blue. Like this deep, beautiful blue. And now the sky looks sick. Like, and I'm not talking about on cloudy days, man. I'm talking about a straight up sunshine day. It just, something's not right. I don't want to get all spiritual and religious on y'all and whatnot, but That's the biggest contributor to why all this stuff is happening, man. The Bible actually talks about how rulers of nations are given as judgment to nations that have fallen from God. Hey there, Risotto. And I'll tell you what, America is very deserving of the rulers that we have in our country, whether it be Biden, Trump, Bush, Obama, any of them. It don't matter which party it is. There is no party that is not corrupt. How could a leader who claims to be a Christian criminalize homelessness? Like, does the Bible not say that we're supposed to help the poor? Why would we imprison them? That completely goes against God's word, as is most things that are done in America these days as we glorify and legalize sin. It don't have to be like this, guys. The people need to push back. And I don't mean riot. I don't mean revolt. I don't mean anything like that. I mean refuse to conform to tyranny. Refuse to bend a knee and to support things. Like, it makes no sense to support something that you know is going to bring destruction to not only your family, but to everyone around you. Well, I appreciate that, Sanjina. I'm definitely not the best, but I do have eyes to see and ears to hear. I'm very blessed in the discernment that God has given me in my life. I hope that other people see and realize what's happening, and that the citizens together in unison, unity, stand up against tyranny and refuse to sit back and to allow the government to just continue to do the things that they're doing. We are over $30 trillion in debt. Why are we still giving billions of dollars to other countries? That makes no sense. None. Until you realize that all of this is an intentional thing and that it's meant for the destruction of our country. That don't make no good sense. But lo and behold, here we are. The division, okay, the division in our country is next level. Like, I don't think our country has ever been as divided as it is right now. Even in the Civil War, I don't think we were as this divided. And that's saying something, considering a lot of things, you know? At least at that time in history, we all had a moral compass. But the moral compass of America has degraded so far away from God that we might as well be holding hands with Satan. Like, I wish I could just snap my fingers and be able to help everybody see the things that are happening and remove the veil of deception that is over people's eyes and bring back the unity that we used to have in our communities across the nation. People aren't friends anymore. Birth rates are plummeting. Divorce is skyrocketing. Marriages are plummeting. Like, how is doing so great when the state of our nation tells us something is very wrong? And when the nation is passing laws to criminalize homelessness and to take people's vehicles that are living in their cars or living in an RV and tell them that that's not acceptable because Big Daddy government says so, that's just, we can't support this, guys. People need to be writing their senators, writing the Supreme Court, write every person in office that you can possibly reach out to, whether it's Senate, Congress, your own state representatives, whatever it is. But the people need to stand against this, not in a violent way, not in a revolting civil disobedience way, but in a way that says we are not going to tolerate this, and that we're not going to sit here and watch the government imprison people for not being as well off as they are. Of course that we're not as well off as they are. We don't get paid millions of dollars to be corrupt and to pocket taxpayers' money. So of course they're better off than we are, with all of their special interest and backdoor deals. I'm not really You have yourself a good evening, Sanjina. Thank you for coming by. I hope for America's sake that real soon and real fast that the people's eyes open and that we stand together. Because if we don't, we're going to lose our nation. And it's going to be lost to those who have intentionally destroyed it. And because the people have sat back and done nothing, we will equally be at fault. I love y'all, guys. And I pray that somebody somewhere understands and opens their eyes. Love y'all, guys. Y'all have a good evening.